Hey guys, Gradius here, and this is a video for volume of a sphere. And first of all, we need to talk about what a sphere is, okay, and then we can talk about what the formula and how to use it for volume of a sphere. So a sphere, you guys, is a ball. That's what it is, okay, or it's like the planet Earth. It's a globe, but it's just a ball. It's like any other ball. It's like a basketball, a baseball, a soccer ball. That's what a sphere is, okay. So it's just a ball. So it's round, and a sphere has the same radius or same diameter anywhere throughout the sphere. So, for example, this sphere right here, we're showing that it still has a radius because it's still in a circular shape in the middle. Okay, and that radius is 2. But I could do that same radius from any part of the sphere everywhere. If it goes 2 straight to the middle, it's going to be 2. Okay, so a sphere is perfectly round, and the radius all around the sphere is the exact same. Now, with the sphere, to find the volume of a sphere, so how much space a sphere takes up, or how much it actually can hold, we use this formula: 4 pi r to the third power over 3. Let's make sure we get this down because this formula is very important, and it's a little bit different than volume of a cone and volume of a cylinder. Okay, so 4 pi r to the third power all divided by 3. Okay, so find the volume of a sphere, there's really only one value that you need. All you need is the radius. You don't need the height, because we know the height, again, is the same thing because it's just going to be the radius doubled. Okay, it's your diameter. And so we don't need that information. We just need to know what the radius is, and that's it. And then we plug that value into our formula. Okay, so a lot of the formula is going to be the exact same every single time you work with it. It's always going to be 4 pi. The only value that changes is your radius. So for this particular sphere, my radius is 2, because again, it stops halfway, and the radius is the one that stops halfway. Diameter goes all the way through. So when I find the volume of the sphere, I want to plug this all into my formula, and I divide this all by 3. Okay, so I have 2 to the third power. I have 4 times pi, and then I have all of that divided by 3. So this is something where we just evaluate from here, and we always evaluate our exponent first. Okay, so my volume equals 4 pi times whatever 2 to the third power is. So 2 to the third power, that is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 4 times 2, which is 8. So I've got 4 pi times 8 divided by 3. Again, I like to save pi for last. It makes life easier. So now I can just multiply 4 times 8 real quick. That gives me 32 pi over 3. Okay, now is when I actually get to do some multiplication. And I get to do 32 times 3.14. When I do that, because I'm using 3.14 for pi, when I do that, I get 100.48. I still have to divide all that by 3. I'm just going to do that as my last step to get 33.49 if I round. So the volume of this sphere is 33.49. So again, it's as simple as just plugging in our radius into our formula and then just evaluating the top, dividing by 3 in the end. Okay, let's look at another one. So here, I got to find the volume of a sphere. I have a ball. Okay, here's my sphere. And that sphere has a radius of 4. So I just need to take that and plug it in for r into my formula. So 4 pi times 4 cubed over 3. Make sure we evaluate this to the third power and not to the second power. It's very, very important. This is not 4 times 3. This is my first thing. This exponent means I need to multiply 4 by itself 3 different times. So this is, again, 4 times 4 times 4, which is 16 times 4, which is 64. So my volume equals 4 pi times 64 over 3. I can now even expand that further, so I can do 4 times 64. Okay, this is where a calculator is a little nice thing to have. And I get 256 pi over 3. And now I can do 256 times 3.14 to get 803.84. And I'm just dividing that by 3. And when I divide that by 3 for my very last step, I get a volume of 267.95 by rounding to the nearest hundredth. And I'm done. Okay, so a quick recap. Volume of a sphere, all you need is your radius. So if you're given the diameter, we cut it in half. We only want the radius, the one that goes halfway. It stops in the middle. Okay, plug it into our formula. First thing you do is you cube it. Okay, so you cube your radius. And then once you do that, you just multiply everything on the top, and then at the end, divide by 3. Instead of looking at this one, just real quick, if we have a sphere like this, I know I want you guys to give this a shot. But if for a sphere like this, I don't want to do the whole problem, but I just want to see this sphere, we're given the diameter. So what we need to make sure we do, because my formula is 4 pi r cubed over 3, I need my radius. This is not a radius. So the radius only goes halfway. So I need to cut this whole length of 12 in half and find my radius is 6. Okay, so just real quick, it would be 6 cubed, not 12 cubed. Divided by 3. And then I would multiply the top and then divide by 3 in the end. Okay, last thing I want to look at real quick though is hemispheres. Okay, so a hemisphere, okay, is a sphere that has just been cut in half. Okay, so this would be a hemisphere. It's half of a sphere. So we take a ball, we cut it in half, and then that gives us a hemisphere. You can always think about if you've heard of the northern hemisphere or southern hemisphere when talking about planet Earth. When it's talking about the northern hemisphere, we're talking about the upper half, the northern half of the whole entire planet. So this would just be the northern half of planet Earth. And then if we're talking about southern hemisphere, we're talking about the bottom half. Okay, so hemisphere is just a sphere that has been cut in half. Make sure you get this down so you know this definition. So to find the volume of the hemisphere, we would find the volume of the whole sphere. So I would use my 4 pi r cubed over 3. Okay, so I have my radius is 3. So I'm going to plug that in, 4 pi times 3 cubed divided by 3. And I'm going to solve first because I'm just finding the volume of a sphere. And then at the end, I'm going to cut it in half. So 3 to the third power, that's 3 times 3 times 3. That's 27. So I have 4 pi times 27. Now I can do 4 times 27 in my calculator. Okay, and that's going to give me 108 pi over 3. Now I can multiply 108 times pi, which is 3.14. That'll give me 339.12. All divided by 3. And when I go ahead and just do that, I get 113.04. So what I just did, let's do a quick recap because I went through that really quickly. I wanted to find the volume of this hemisphere, so what I'm using is because the hemisphere is half of a sphere, I used my volume of a sphere formula. And so I just found the volume of a sphere with a radius of 3. Okay, and then this is my work to solve. 113.04 is the volume of this whole sphere. This is not a whole sphere though, this is a hemisphere. So that means it's half of a sphere. So this is the volume of the whole sphere. What I need to do with this is I need to cut it in half by dividing by 2 again. And then I get 56.52. So the volume of this particular hemisphere is 56.52. Okay, so a hemisphere, it's just half of a sphere, you guys. And so make sure you use your sphere formula, and then just when you find it, when you get your final answer, just cut it in half, divide it by 2, and that'll give you your hemisphere. Okay, so thank you for watching the video. That's all I've got for you guys. If you have any questions, please let me know, and good luck.